I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is going to be this Shakespeare SKP 15 and large line roller pickup pin. Okay, it's a very stiff reel, and we're going to take this thing apart, see if we can't get it going. Let's check out the anti-reverse on it. That's working. Okay. The drag seems to work, but we don't know for certain. Oh yeah, there's a lot of corrosion up inside this reel we're going to have to clean out. Look at the size of this drag pin, or a line pin though. That's very nice. One of the big fallbacks for, or downsides of these spincast reels is the fact that this pin is so small that it can cut the line. And this one is big enough that it won't. It does appear, though, we've got a slight bit of a groove cut in the surface. Oh, sorry. We do have a slight bit of a groove cut in the surface of the rotor. But we should be able to file or sand that down. Let's see if this will unscrew. I believe it does. Okay. And then it should, yep, just slide right off. Okay, this is one of those where the pin is right here. See this spring? That's what's going to hold that button out. Well, let's see if that button actually does hold out when you push the button. We may have a problem there. All right, now, yeah, there is a problem. No, it actually stayed out. Okay, it's staying up. When you push the button, see the pin stays in. Pin comes back out as you wind it. Okay, so that pin is doing its job. All right, so we'll go ahead and take this apart. Take this rotor off, take a look at it. It looks very good inside. So, all right, now, if you want to remove this rotor, see this spring wire here? Grab a hold of it and pull it over to the side like that. And if you want to just stay, you can hook it right there. And then this should just pull off, which it does. Okay. Okay. Don't see any sign of a rotate or variable spool on this. It's got a pin that it locks into there and there using those two pins. Okay. Let's go ahead and remove this handle. Got a nut with a star washer for locking, and then we can take the handle off, and then we have the star drag that just unscrews. Okay, then we've got this tension washer, and that's it. Got this sleeve. We'll leave that inside there. Let's come over to this side now and remove wow. I hope they're not going to break. They've been in there a long time and they're corroded. Okay, this one here is okay. going to do is spray this one with some WD-40. And what we're going to do is work it in and out a little bit. Hopefully it's not going to break. Screw it back in a little bit, back out a little bit. There we go. Get that WD-40 work down into the screw threads. There we go. Got that one out. Okay. Now there's our button. Here's our side case, and it has a pin, large pin that goes through with the button. And what's it going to take this axle shaft out? Good, it will come out, or will it? Pull that down. And hopefully we can get this to maneuver around, and it doesn't want to do that. It wants to catch. There it goes. All right, now I really didn't want to take this hat channel and stuff off of here. Wow, this is really dry on the inside. There's not a trace that there was ever grease on there. All right, let's go ahead, push this out. That's our main gear. There's our anti-reverse claw right there. And there's the spring that's going to ride on that anti-reverse claw, making it operate properly. Okay, so let's take, there's our anti-reverse cog. Slide that out. And I'm going to take the spring off for a minute. There's really not a need to unglue that from that cog, so I'm just going to leave it there. And we'll leave this to ride on it. Just like that. All right. We're going to slide the main gear off. Big main gear. Now this one, we'll go ahead and remove it from the crankshaft. Looks like it's had some corrosion in here. All right, there we go. Yeah, definitely had some corrosion in there. I'm going to hit this with a wire wheel and see if we can clean that off a little bit. Well, that wire wheel didn't seem to do much for it, so I'm going to try a buffer wheel. Okay, that looks a lot better. And I'll go ahead and I'm not overly pleased with how that looks inside. There's really not much I can do about that. Okay. Parts have all been cleaned up now. Now we're ready to start reassembling this. And what I'm going to do, I'll leave that on. Let's go ahead and put it together this way. All right, we're going to start off with the crankshaft. And onto the crankshaft, we're going to put this drag washer. But I'm going to give this drag washer something that it didn't seem to have before, which is a little bit of lubrication. Okay, put that on there, slide that down. Okay, then onto that, we'll go the main gear. So it slides up like that. Okay, and that's going to be our drag. Boy, that's an awful rough surface to be handling the drag. I'm just not real pleased with that. I've got to do something about that. I'm going to try a Dremel attachment with a grinder on the end and see if I can flatten that out a little bit. I don't like how that looks. If you look, it's really rough inside. And I don't think that's going to function very well as a drag. All right, we'll try this brace on here and see if I can. Okay, the reason that surface was like that, there was corrosion underneath the plating. And now I've knocked the plating off. Let's do it again. All right, that's much smoother. Yeah, there was corrosion underneath that plating. And by doing this, I've managed to knock the plating off and get rid of the corrosion. And now let's see if that doesn't... I think that's going to ride better. All right. Next to go on, I've got the crankshaft, the drag washer, slid into the main gear now. And now we're going to slide this other drag washer in, and I'm going to put a little grease there, not much. This drag washer is going to sit down onto here. And it is mounted to this anti-reverse cog. And now we've got this wire right here. And this wire has got to go into that slot right there on the anti-reverse claw. So that's what we got to try to fit in now. And into that, we're going to have this sleeve. We'll go ahead and grease the sleeve on the outside, and we'll grease the shaft on the inside. We're going to slide the sleeve in first like that, and then slide the crankshaft inside. Slide it down, and we've got to line that wire up with that anti-reverse claw. There we go. Now I've got it lined up. Next to go on is going to be this tension washer, followed up by the drag star. With that done, yep, got a piece we haven't cleaned. We have not cleaned this. I'll be right back. The next part to go in is going to be this axle shaft. And now I've got it scrubbed up nice and clean. Let's put some oil on the axle shaft itself. Sorry about that. Ken just came by and brought me some more projects and talked to me for a while, so I had to stop. And we're going back to this now. I don't know where I was, so we're going to back up just a second. And we're going to oil the axle shaft, put a little oil on the back side where the pinion slides. Make sure that the pinion will move freely on the axle shaft. And then we're going to work on sliding this back in. And we've got to get this worked in. There we go, like that. Okay, make sure our anti-reverse is still working, and it is. Now we need to get some grease on this main gear. And on the pinion gear. And we'll throw a little bit more on this axle shaft. And rotate this around a little bit. There we go. All right, with that done, it's time. Let's zoom in just a little bit. I'm going to turn this a little bit and move this a hair closer to me. All right, with that done, we are going to go ahead and let's put the button back on with the back like this. And let's put a little grease on the pin and slide it through the button. And then let's see about putting the button down inside, sliding this around. And now we've got 2 screws to put back in. And I tell you what, I already lubricated this pretty well with WD-40, but WD-40 doesn't have a real long staying power, so let's go ahead and put oil in the holes instead. And let's put this other screw in. All right, that button should hold that down. Hold that in. There we go. I'm going to clean some of this excess line off here. As a matter of fact, I'm really tempted to yank all this line off. But I'll clean it up later. I really want it on here to test the drag with. Remember, I had to do all that work on the drag. So let's go ahead and slide this in like that and lock it in. And now we should be able to take this spring, pop it up there. That locks this spool back in to where it's not going to fall out. I want to see if I can hook onto that line and get it out of there. There we go. So that I'll have it when I want to test the drag. I'm going to push the button in to raise that up. And we're going to slide out forward as we do that. Let's go ahead, clean this. All right, we got that clean. I'm going to add a little oil to the pivot point. And we're going to put a little grease up here on the top. And we'll put a little bit more here. Now, push in the button. Turn this around until it drops into place. Doesn't want to go in. Oh, it's not going to stick out. Okay. All right. Lock it into place. It's got the screw. I was waiting for it to stick up so we could put a nut on it. There is no nut for this one. This one has a screw that screws down. Okay. I'm going to hold that in place. Snug that a little better. All right. Pull the line. Let's run it through the cap. Okay, and we're still in need of putting the handle back on. So let's set the handle in place. Star washer on. And now, let's go ahead and tighten this back up. There we go. All right, let's see what we got. The button's been pushed in, so the line comes out. Let's wind it in. There we go. Line winds in just fine. Let's see if we got drag. We do. Let's see if we can tighten the drag. Oh yeah. Tightens up beautifully. Anti-reverse is working. And with some fresh new line on there, that should work just fine. Okay, so there we have the Shakespeare SKP 15 is the model. It's covered over, so I don't know what year it was made. It really looks like it says CK, but I'm not sure about that. Made in the USA. Nice reel. It says that if we put on 15-pound test line, we should be able to put 73 yards of line. 10-pound test is good for 114 yards. So I do not plan to fish this one, but I am going to strip this line off just to have it off so I can clean the spool good inside. And that one's going to go in my display case for now. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't like it, tell me what you didn't like about it. Hit the dislike button. And for now, that's Rick Stivers with YoungMartin'sReels, signing out.